We have an update now to a story we were the first to bring you. 3 months ago, we told you about an Uber driver who drove off with a 5-year-old girl still inside the car after dropping her family home. And when her mom tried calling Uber support, she was told they couldn't contact the driver because of its policies. Well, Uber Canada has now confirmed it is changing those policies. Farrah Merali joins me now with more on this. And Farrah, tell us more about these changes.
That's right. So, Kelda, the really big change here is that customer support agents can now step in and actually facilitate communication with the driver in these types of emergency situation. And that's really what Julia Viscomi, who's the mother of this young girl, has been pushing for since this whole thing happened. Now, just to take you back, the whole ordeal unfolded in March of this year. Julia and her partner and both of their kids were taking an Uber home from a basketball game. They started unloading the children one by one, and her 5-year-old daughter was sleeping in the back. But the Uber driver drove off before she could actually come back and get her daughter. So immediately she contacted Uber, trying to get a hold of the driver, but the company told her that they could not connect her with him because of their policies. So she contacted police, and more than an hour later, officers were able to track down the vehicle and her daughter, who was thankfully unharmed. And at the time, Uber told us that, they were following its protocols. And those protocols are that it has to be law enforcement that first has to fill out an online form in order to get in touch with a driver. That is now changing with these new policies. Those customer support agents, as I said, can now facilitate that communication with the driver. We had a chance to speak to Julia Viscomi about this policy change, and she told us that she's elated.
And I think the reaction from the public validates that I wasn't asking for too much. I think that these are very basic safety measures that should have been in place. And I'm thrilled that it looks like Uber is agreeing. I think it's just a reminder to never give up. If you truly believe in something, if you know it's the right thing to do, you just have to keep doing it.
So we know that after this incident, Uber conducted an internal review of its policies, and it led to updates to what it calls its safety protocols and operational procedures. And Kelda, they did say that they did make more changes in that regard, but they couldn't share them because of privacy reasons.
And Farrah, this was a story that really resonated with a lot of people, especially those with kids, right? And also at the city level, right? There was discussion about changes after this happened.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, just days after we published this story, the city officials or city council actually passed a motion directing staff to recommend changes to the policies that rideshare companies follow in cases of emergencies. And I mean, I think that's a testament to Julia's persistence here in really trying to get these policies changed. What's significant is that Uber seems to really be acknowledging that they could have handled this situation differently. The company actually wrote her a letter today. It came straight from the general manager of Uber Rides Canada, and he apologized to her directly, saying, "We've understood through our media coverage that your primary concern is ensuring Uber updates its systems so no other parent has to experience what you went through. We fully agree our response could and should have been better, as our policies weren't built with this type of circumstance in mind." Now, one more thing that the company says that it is doing is that they're starting in-person training for their staff members, working actually with Toronto Police on this, and that's starting this fall. But these policy training or policy changes that we've been talking about, Kelda, those come into effect immediately.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Farrah. That's our Farrah Merali reporting.